said to Monsieur Gannett, or his American gentleman friend after Monsieur Gannett had run away. I saw Talleyrand was guessing again, for Red Jacket hadn't told him a word about the white men's powwow. Why hadn't he? Puck asked. Because Red Jacket was a chief. He told Talleyrand what the President had said to him and Cornplanter, but he didn't repeat the talk between the white men that Big Hand had ordered him to leave behind. Oh, said Puck. I see. What did you do? First I was going to make some sort of tale round it, but Talleyrand was a chief too. So I said, as soon as I get Red Jacket's permission to tell that part of the tale, I'll be delighted to refresh your memory, Abby. What else could I have done? Is that all? He says, laughing. Let me refresh your memory. In a month from now I can give you $100 for your account of the conversation. Make it 500, Abby, I says. 5 then, he says. That will suit me admirably, I says. Red Jacket will be in town again by then, and the moment he gives me leave I'll claim the money. He had a hard fight to be civil, but he came out smiling. Monsieur, he says, I beg your pardon as sincerely as I envy the noble Huron your loyalty. Do me the honour to sit down while I explain. There wasn't another chair, so I sat on the button-box. He was a clever man. He had got hold of the gossip that the President meant to make a peace treaty with England at any cost. He had found out, from Gannett, I reckoned, who was with the President on the day the two chiefs met him. He'd heard that Gannett had had a huff with the President and had ridden off, leaving his business at loose ends. What he wanted, what he begged and blustered to know, was just the very words which the President had said to his gentlemen after Gannett had left, concerning the peace treaty with England. He put it to me that in helping him to those very words I'd be helping 3 great countries as well as mankind. The room was as bare as the palm of your hand, but I couldn't laugh at him. I'm sorry, I says, when he wiped his forehead. As soon as Red Jacket gives permission— You don't believe me then, he cuts in. Not one little word, Abby, I says, except that you mean to be on the winning side. Remember, I've been fiddling to all your old friends for months. Well, then his temper fled him and he called me names. Wait a minute, ci devant, I says at last. I am half English and half French, but I am not the half of a man. I will tell thee something the Indian told me. Has thee seen the President? Oh, yes, he sneers. I had letters from the Lord Lansdowne to that estimable old man. Then, I says, thee will understand, that when thee has met the President, thee will feel in thy heart he is a stronger man than thee. Go, he whispers, before I kill thee, go. He looked like it, so I left him. Why did he want to know so badly? Said Dan. The way I look at it is that if he had known for certain that Washington meant to make the peace treaty with England at any price, he'd have left old Fouché fumbling about in Philadelphia while he went straight back to France and told old Danton, "It's no good your wasting time and hopes on the United States, because she won't fight on our side." That I've proof of. Then Danton might have been grateful and given Talleyrand a job, because a whole mass of things hang on knowing for sure who's your friend and who's your enemy. Just think of us poor shopkeepers, for instance. Did Red Jacket let you tell when he came back? Una asked. Of course not. He said, "When Cornplanter and I asked you what Big Hand said to the whites, you can tell the lame chief. All that talk was left behind in the timber as Big Hand ordered. Tell the lame chief there will be no war. He can go back to France with that word." Talleyrand and me hadn't met for a long time, except at emigre parties. When I gave him the message he just shook his head. He was sorting buttons in the shop. "I cannot return to France with nothing better than the word of an unsophisticated savage," he says. "Hasn't the President said anything to you?" I asked him. "He has said everything that one in his position ought to say. But if I only had what he said to his cabinet after Gannett rode off, I believe I could change Europe, the world, maybe." "I'm sorry," I says. "Maybe you'll do that without my help." He looked at me hard. "Either you have an unusual observation for one so young, or you choose to be insolent," he says. "It was intended for a compliment," I says. "But no odds. We're off in a few days for our summer trip, and I've come to make my goodbyes." "I go on my travels too," he says. "If ever we meet again, you may be sure I will do my best to repay what I owe you." "Without malice, Abby, I hope," I says. "None whatever," he says. "Give my respects to your adorable Dr. Pangloss," that was one of his side names for Toby, "and the Huron. I never could teach him the difference betwixt Hurons and Senecas. Then Sister Haga came in for a paper of what we call pilly buttons, and that was the last I saw of Talleyrand in those parts. "But after that you met Napoleon, didn't you?" said Una. "Wait just a little, dearie. After that, Toby and I went to Lebanon and the reservation, and being older and knowing better how to manage him, I enjoyed myself well that summer with fiddling and fun. When we came back, the brethren got after Toby because I wasn't learning any lawful trade, and he had a hard work to save me from being apprenticed to Hembold and Geyer, the printers. 'Twould have ruined our music together, indeed it would. And when we escaped that, old Mats Rausch, the leather breeches maker round the corner, took a notion I was cut out for skin dressing. But we were rescued. Along towards Christmas there comes a big sealed letter from the bank saying that a Monsieur Talleyrand had put $500, £100, to my credit there to use as I pleased. There was a little note from him inside, he didn't give any address, to thank me for past kindnesses and my believing in his future, which he said was pretty cloudy at the time of writing. I wished Toby to share the money. I hadn't done more than bring Talleyrand up to 118. The kindnesses were Toby's. But Toby said, 'No, liberty and independence forever. I have all my wants, my son.' So I gave him a new set of fiddle strings, and the brethren didn't advise us any more. Only Pastor Metter, he preached about the deceitfulness of riches, and Brother Adam Goose said if there was war the English would surely shoot down the bank. I knew there wasn't going to be any war, but I drew the money out, and on Red Jacket's advice I put it into horseflesh, which I sold to Bob Bicknell for the Baltimore stagecoaches. That way I doubled my money inside the 12-month. "You gypsy! You proper gypsy!" Puck shouted. "Why not? 'Twas fair buying and selling. Well, one thing leading to another, in a few years I had made the beginning of a worldly fortune, and was in the tobacco trade." "Ah!" said Puck suddenly. "Might I inquire if you'd ever sent any news to your people in England, or in France?" "Oh, of course I had. I wrote regular every 3 months after I'd made money in the horse trade. We Lees don't like coming home empty-handed. If it's only a turnip or an egg, it's something. Oh yes, I wrote good and plenty to Uncle Aurette, and Dad don't read very quickly. Uncle used to slip over New Haven way and tell Dad what was going on in the tobacco trade." "I see. Aurettes and Lees, like as two peas. Go on, Brother Squaretoes," said Puck. Pharaoh laughed and went on. "Talleyrand, he'd gone up in the world same as me. He'd sailed to France again, and was a great man in the government there a while, but they had to turn him out on account of some story about bribes from American shippers. All our poor émigrés said he was surely finished this time, but Red Jacket and me, we didn't think it was likely, not unless he was quite dead. Big Hand had made his peace treaty with Great Britain, just as he said he would, and there was a roaring trade twixt England and the United States for such as 'ud take the risk of being searched by British and French men o' war. Those two was fighting, and just as his gentleman told Big Hand had happened, the United States was catching it from both. If an English man o' war met an American ship, he'd press half the best men out of her, and swear they was British subjects. Most of 'em was. If a Frenchman met her, he'd likely have the cargo out of her, swearing it was meant to aid and comfort the English. And if a Spaniard or a Dutchman met her, they was hanging on to England's coat-tails too. Lord only knows what they wouldn't do. It came over me that what I wanted in my tobacco trade was a fast-sailing ship and a man who could be French, English, or American at a pinch. Luckily I could lay my hands on both articles. So along towards the end of September, in the year '99, I sailed from Philadelphia with 111 hogshead of good Virginia tobacco, in the brig Bertha Aurette, named after mother's maiden name, hoping 'twould bring me luck. Which she didn't, and yet she did. "Where was you bound for?" Puck asked. Any port I found handiest. I didn't tell Toby or the brethren. They don't understand the ins and outs of the tobacco trade." Puck coughed a small cough as he shifted a piece of wood with his bare foot. "It's easy for you to sit and judge," Pharaoh cried, "but think of what we had to put up with. We spread our wings and run across the broad Atlantic like a hen through a horse fair. Even so, we was stopped by an English frigate 3 days out. He sent a boat alongside and pressed 7 able seamen. I remarked it was hard on honest traders, but the officer said they was fighting all creation and hadn't time to argue. The next English frigate we escaped with no more than a shot in our quarter. Then we was chased 2 days and a night by a French privateer, firing between squalls, and the dirty little English 10 gun